Well, about a week or so ago, I got something in the mail from Blue Cross. It's the health plan that the priests have. And I opened up and it had the classic words, "This is not a bill." And then it went on to explain all that was charged, all that the insurance covered, and everything else I still owed. Anyone ever get one of those? Raise your hand. You ever get one of those? Oh, yeah, everyone knows what that is. Yeah. Because, healthcare has got to be paid for. And on the other end, my brother-in-law, he's a doctor, and he's done very well. He's kept a roof over my sister's head for many, many years. So, God bless them. They're doing very well. But healthcare, like anything else you buy, it's a transaction. It's a transaction. You hope that the medical people can cure whatever problem that you have, and in return, they're paid what they feel is a fair sum of money. And that's how it works, right? That's how it works. That's how it works now. That's how it worked in the time of Jesus. They had doctors of a sort back then too. Most of them, they just used herbs and minerals and things that they would mix up together in the hopes that it would help. Some of their cures, sometimes did work. But there were a lot of things they had no clue as to how to cure or how to take care of. Like leprosy, for example. They wouldn't go near it. So there you have it. That's the world. And here comes Jesus. And Scripture tells us, curing all around Galilee, curing every disease and illness among the people. And boy, the Scripture is filled with stories of Jesus healing people. There's Bartimaeus, the blind man, whom he heals, and now Bartimaeus can see. There is the man with the crooked hand who Jesus heals. My favorite is the man who cannot walk, who's lowered through the roof. Jesus is teaching inside this house. They take out some of the parts of the roof and they drop him down right in front of him. Jesus heals him so that he can walk. He heals a mute man. He heals a deaf man. He heals the widow. Remember, the widow had the hemorrhage and just wanted to touch the hem of his garment. Said she could be healed. And he healed lepers. No one back then knew how to heal lepers. But he healed lepers, curing them and giving them a chance to go home to their family and friends. He raised people from the dead. He raised Jairus' daughter from the dead. He raised the son of the widow of Nain from the dead. And of course, the famous raising of the dead of Lazarus. He never charged a dime for any of it. But you have to ask yourself the question, why did he do this? Because Lazarus and Jairus' daughter and the son of the widow Nain, risen from the dead, eventually died. Every single one of the people that he healed, whether they were blind or they were crippled or they couldn't hear or they had bleeding, they all passed away as well. So why was Jesus doing this healing? What was the point behind it? Now, for a long time, I would think, well, Jesus was just being nice. Jesus was just being kind. And I have no doubt Jesus was very nice. And I have no doubt Jesus was very kind. But all of these healings was much, much more. Much, much more than just being nice. There was an eternal purpose to these healings. Not that the body of these people was going to live forever, but that their souls would. He heals the blind so they would be invited to see in Jesus the Messiah and the salvation of the world. He heals the deaf so they might hear the words of Jesus, hear the good news of the gospel that will lead to their salvation. He heals the cripples so they have an opportunity to follow him as one of his disciples. He raises these dead people so they could have another life. And they could, if they choose, dedicate that to following him. He cured the lepers, not just to restore them to their families, but to give them an opportunity as well to follow him. All of these healings are invitations. I said, medicine today and back then is a transaction. Well, when Jesus healed, it was an invitation. They were invitations. He did all these beautiful healings so that they would all know that they're invited to see in him the salvation of the world. And I think in our lives today, we're trained to think transactionally. You get what you pay for, which is true. And that, it's tit for tat. It's I do this and you do that. And that's how the world functions. But that's not how God functions. God gives invitations. When we get blessings in our lives, no matter how they come upon us, we should see them as an invitation of God to God, an invitation to go closer to Him, to open ourselves more to His grace. And through the grace that we receive through His cross and resurrection, through the grace that we receive through His overflowing love, through the grace that we receive through His passion for us, that we, in seeing this, hearing this, will be able to proclaim it and then walk closer to Him through our actions and our deeds and our words for the rest of our lives.